It's been more than 24 hours since the silence was broken in a quiet neighborhood and transformed into a scene out of a war zone. Neighbors having to be evacuated while thousands of rounds were exchanged between police and a man they were trying to evict. Police say this man, William Hardison Sr., faced off with law enforcement, shooting thousands of rounds back and forth for hours. He was declared dead shortly after 5 last night. Neighbors are still feeling the impact from yesterday's shootout, with many still out of their homes at this hour as the investigation continues. We spoke to a next-door neighbor who is now forced from his home that was riddled with bullets. Krista Rose has more on this and the ongoing investigation.
A chaotic scene here along Broad Street yesterday has led to a quiet and somber morning as a neighborhood tries to recover and get its footing once again after a 6-hour standoff and shootout. As dawn broke on this street in Garfield early this morning, people were slowly returning. Some to look, but others, like these employees from nearby Children's Hospital who park in the neighborhood, came to pick up their cars that they couldn't get to yesterday because of all the gunfire.
So we just took a chance to come down here to see if the street was open, and we knew we had to move our cars. And I'm glad, this is over, and I feel sorry that about what happened.
One person on the street, however, had more than just his car here. Martin Nichols lived next door to the shooter, William Hardison, and he spoke exclusively with KDKA about his neighbor, who he says was a menace to those on this street.
Everybody has been saying that he was this nice, kind teddy bear. This man was not that in any way, shape, or form. This man was known as a menace to pretty much everybody else who lived on that street.
According to Nichols, he says that Hardison was not only squatting in the house next to his, but he would yell at people, throw garbage in neighbors' yards, and even stole water out of neighbors' outdoor spigots. Nichols was not home yesterday when the bullets began to fly in his quiet street, but after the scene had been secured late last night, he was allowed into his home briefly to retrieve a few personal belongings. And what he saw, he says, looked like a war zone.
We were literally right next door to him. Our walls were also attached, and it was quite devastating to see the inside of the home. So much dust and drywall everywhere. As soon as you walk through the front, it looked like an absolute war zone.
A war zone that now needs to be investigated, and once that's done, somehow cleaned and made habitable again. Nichols is now staying with a coworker, but being an asthmatic and with the amount of dust left from all the shot-up walls, he doesn't know if he'll ever be able to live in that home again. It's truly an incredible scene, and damage really can be seen everywhere in the neighborhood. And Nichols and other folks that have been displaced from yesterday's violence, they have not been given an official word as to when they can get back and live in their homes. But the question is, will they want to stay and live in their homes? We've got more on the story on our website, KDKA.com. But for now, reporting in Garfield, Krista Rose, KDKA-TV News.